That's the way you want to play it?
Fellas, this is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim is being played here on the Xbox 360, so no game-breaking mods in this video, just Skyrim as she was released back on the date November 11th, 2011. So 11/11/11 if you didn't know, and let me tell you, back on release this was one of those games where if you weren't playing it, you were a loser. So instead of being a loser, as you know, you first start out making your character, choosing from a variety of races, each with some unique ability that is meant to give you an edge in combat. Hopefully, because like other RPG games, some choices are just outright better than others. I opted to make an orc named Led Zepp, guess the name reference, but in this playthrough I wanted to go purely as a sword and board character for old time's sake. Orcs get an honestly insane once per day ability called Berserker Rage that allows them to deal twice the amount of damage while only taking half damage for 60 seconds. So in other words, pop this ability when up against a boss or 20 enemies at once.
You see, here is fallen from the sky. The Nord tongues, masters of the voice, are arrayed against him.
Now, I won't go over the plot too much, but long story short, dragons have started to reappear all across the land of Skyrim after some 100 or more years of them being dead, and you, the player, by some miraculous event where you almost got killed, are the chosen one known as the Dragonborn, and it is your job to save the world, as in all the other Elder Scrolls games. But this time, you get to fight dragons and use these weird abilities called shouts. Which one of my friends persuaded me to try and use shouts everywhere I can in this playthrough, and you know what? They're actually pretty fun. I used to only really use the shout dragon wren that forces a dragon to the ground, but if you take the time to add them to your rotation, they can be quite useful. But then again, you only learn or unlock shouts when going through the campaign. This time I did not start the main quest line until about level 20. I focused on exploring and doing other quests like the Civil War between the Imperial and the Stormcloaks, which I can't really show as all my footage is unusable thanks to audio problems. Thank you, AverMedia.
Skyrim doesn't belong to you, Ulfric.
No.
Just know that going through the Civil War quest line, in my opinion, has the biggest impact in the game when it comes to showcasing your actions in the world. As some characters, mostly the town guards, will change due to the new power ruling over the land. Which I went with the Imperials this time around, as the Stormcloaks aren't too friendly with races other than Nords. Let's put it that way.
Once and for all.
I'm promoting you to Quester. Take this blade, a symbol of your new station and responsibility.
All throughout my playthrough, though, I did things I don't normally get into much when playing this game again, as the aforementioned shouts, stuff such as alchemy or even any crafting profession outside of upgrading my equipment. And I usually would be a stealth with bow and arrow type of guy, because getting a surprise attack on an enemy will do like 3 times the damage.
Someone there?
Which, good God, man, even though I would consider myself just a casual player that has picked up and put down this game pretty much since its release, there is always something new to discover. A new quest, new offside favor from some random NPC, and simply new ways to play. Obviously, this game has an end to it at some point, but by just looking at the in-game map, you can tell there is thousands of stuff to do, which is one of the main reasons to play these games, or any of the games in the Elder Scrolls or Fallout series. But hey, speaking of maps, if you have a complete launch copy of the game, there's a good chance it came with a map that has a nice, semi-visible in the recording, texture to it. It even says on the back of the box, premium physical map inside, which I think the copies after launch just had regular shiny paper maps. So yeah, this premium map is getting framed at some point. You know, the combat in Skyrim, while very straightforward, especially if you are doing just a sword and board character like I am, is nonetheless extremely fun, if you build your character the right way. My guy was a warrior through and through. I equipped him with the heaviest armor and also equipped him with the ever-powerful Mace of Molag Bal, and knowing that I got it almost immediately after starting my character is even crazier. I use this thing from like level 5 to 30. It is that good. Combine this with the specialized one-handed weapon talent tree, and this thing could one-shot bandits. That is how I play all of my RPGs. I'm either a walking wall that will not be stopped, or I am a complete glass cannon. Fortunately, you can kind of be both in Skyrim, depending on what enemy you're fighting. While there are other tech trees for everything from combat, crafting professions, and good old speech, I tend to keep on the same track apart from upgrading the base talent on some trees. For instance, with alchemy, the first point will just allow you to make stronger potions. Something that came in handy when I just spammed out like 50 health potions, which I did often. So Skyrim allows you to play your way like a role-playing game should. That is no surprise there. But how does it control? A good game can be hampered if it doesn't feel good to play, and for better or worse, Skyrim no doubt focused on the console ports rather than the PC version, especially when it came to its UI. All the menus are easy to navigate on the 360 controller and easy to read on a big TV, but I remember this being a major problem for PC players on release, as the Elder Scrolls series got its start on the personal computer. So many players on computers saw this as some sort of betrayal, although Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion already did this. But nowadays that is not an issue, as there are plenty of online mods to address the problem. So why the f even mention it? Well, there is another way to partially control this game, and it is exclusive to the Xbox 360 version. If you grew up and played games during this time, you might remember a certain peripheral that our rich friend Microsoft was pushing to developers. That peripheral is the Xbox 360 Kinect. Yes, that's right. If you have your Kinect plugged in and the setting checked in the menus, you too can tell the game to quick save with the power of your voice. Quick save. As for its actual uses, not much. It does not always work for shouts in combat, even when holding the shout button that shows a dragon in the top right of the screen. Foos.
Hey, someone knows.
Foos Roda. Foos. 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 But what it works well with is the map. Whiterun. Solitude. Riften. Shout city names or even just the word player and the camera will snap to that location. And honestly, it worked best in this case. Falkreath. Winterhold. Player. But overall, stick to the gamepad. You'll be much better off. I know it's crazy, the Kinect not being the best way to play a game. Who would have thought? But hey, you could use your Kinect to help fast travel to places, which Skyrim has some beautiful cities and landscapes. Granted, there are no desert biomes or anything like that, but being able to travel throughout the woods is a nice and pleasant experience. While everything may start to look the same after a while, the interiors and exteriors of the buildings give a nice, cozy environment that will only become chaotic when a random dragon swoops down, which happened more than I'd like. Yeah, after the 6th dragon that interrupted me when I was just traveling along the road, you get really tired of it. Luckily, the aforementioned dragon wren shout that you get from the main questline forces them to the ground and allows you to make quick work of them. So again, use the shouts to your advantage, people. You know, for a couple of years after this game released, I didn't know you can halt the random spawning of dragons by just holding off the main quest line. It absolutely blew my mind when my friend told me that, which is the main reason I did that for this playthrough, as really the dragons, while cool, are a gimmick in my opinion. So there's a tip if you're doing a new playthrough. But even with a gimmick, Skyrim is still a blast to play all these years later. I don't know if buying one of the 50 re-releases they've done is warranted, as the Xbox 360 or just the launch version plays just fine. Although I did crash a couple times, but that comes with the territory of a Bethesda title. The game had a total of 3 DLCs released, 2 of which were story content, and one of them was like a house building DLC for some reason. I'm sure the impact of Minecraft at the time made that one a reality. But I do plan on playing and hopefully reviewing the story DLCs as I have never played them. Actually, scratch that. I think I played the first one, Dawn Guard, the one with the vampires. I remember a lot of dudes were pissed they couldn't romance one of the main characters when that was released. That was really funny to hear about on the schoolyard. So apart from the dragon gimmick, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, to me, is an example of a perfect game that has stood up to the test of time. And not to cause a midlife crisis for some, Skyrim is almost 15 years old, people. She's starting to be retro. Although you can certainly nitpick certain aspects like the console-friendly UI, the easy-ass puzzles, or even the lack of voice actors, the game nonetheless does an excellent job of immersing you into the world of Elder Scrolls, which is the main objective of a role-playing game, or even any video game for that matter. So, cheers to you, Skyrim developers, for making an amazing game. Probably should have used a bigger can for the glass, but whatever. Although I don't think you need to do another re-release of the game. May want to tell your accounting department to sit the f*** down for once, Bethesda, as the game works just fine, for the most part. And for us players, the game is super cheap online. Even the Legendary Edition with all the DLC is only like 20 bucks. Physical copies, what a concept. Anyways, if you're looking for something to kill time, possibly a month's or even years worth, honestly, you would be stupid not to consider playing Elder Scrolls V Skyrim again, or for the first time, because even though the game is getting up there in age, it is still a fun time no matter what. So until next time, dudes, peace.